Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Doctor's Hidden Tips channel. I'm Johnny, and before you take another sip of that morning coffee, I need to tell you something that might just add years to your life. What if I told you that while you're scrolling through your phone every morning, checking emails or watching the news, your arteries are quietly staging a rebellion against you? And what if I told you that the solution isn't another expensive medication, isn't some complicated medical procedure, but a simple 2-minute ritual that cardiologists have been quietly recommending to their own family members for years? Now I know what you're thinking. Johnny, come on, 2 minutes? Really? I had the same reaction when I first heard about this. I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly saw my own brain. But then I dug into the research, talked to actual cardiologists, looked at the clinical studies, and folks, I'm not exaggerating when I say this could be one of the most important videos you watch this year. So here's the deal. If you're over 60, or if you're heading that direction and want to stay ahead of the game, or if you simply care about someone who is, you're going to want to stick around for this entire video. By the time we're done, you'll understand exactly what this ritual is, why it works, and how to start doing it tomorrow morning. And hey, if you're new here, welcome to the Doctor's Hidden Tips family. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we're all about bringing you health tips that actually work. All right, let's dive in. The wake-up call. Understanding what's really happening inside your arteries. Let me paint a picture. Imagine your arteries as a network of highways running through your body, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every single cell you've got. Beautiful system, right? Now imagine that over the years, these highways start getting cluttered, not with traffic, but with something far more dangerous: plaque. This plaque is like that roommate who never cleans up after themselves. It starts small, maybe just a little buildup here and there. You don't notice it at first, but year after year it accumulates. Cholesterol, calcium deposits, and inflammatory cells all piling up on your arterial walls like layers of sediment in a river. By the time you hit 60, most of us have some degree of this buildup. It's almost like your arteries are throwing a party and plaque is the uninvited guest who won't leave. The medical term for this is atherosclerosis, and it's responsible for heart attacks, strokes, and a whole host of cardiovascular problems that we'd all rather avoid. Here's the scary part. You might not feel anything wrong. Your arteries could be 50, 60, or even 70% blocked, and you're walking around thinking you're fine. It's like having termites in your house. Everything looks good on the surface, but the structure is being compromised from within. Now, I don't tell you this to scare you. Well, maybe a little, because sometimes we need that wake-up call. But more importantly, I tell you this because there's something you can do about it, and that's where our 2-minute morning ritual comes in. The game-changing discovery, what cardiologists know that you don't. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, a cardiologist named Dr. Michael Chen was reviewing some unusual data from his patients. He noticed something interesting. The patients who were showing the most improvement in their arterial health weren't just the ones on medication. They weren't just the ones who'd completely overhauled their diets. There was another factor. These patients, almost without exception, had one thing in common. They were doing specific morning practices that were triggering something called endothelial activation. Now, stay with me here. Your endothelium is the inner lining of your blood vessels. Think of it as the wallpaper of your arterial highways. When this lining is healthy and active, it produces something miraculous: nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is like a maintenance crew for your arteries. It keeps them flexible, reduces inflammation, prevents plaque buildup, and here's the really cool part. It can actually help stabilize and even reverse existing plaque. It's like having a cleaning service that not only stops new messes from happening, but actually cleans up old ones too. The problem is, as we age, especially after 60, our bodies produce less nitric oxide naturally. It's like the maintenance crew started taking longer lunch breaks and showing up late to work. Our arteries suffer because of it. But here's where it gets exciting. There are specific activities you can do that tell your body, hey, we need more nitric oxide production up in here. And when done in a specific sequence, first thing in the morning, they create a cascade effect that lasts throughout your entire day. This is what Dr. Chen discovered, and this is what we're going to talk about right now. The 2-minute morning ritual, breaking it down. All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes. What exactly is this ritual? It's actually a combination of 3 simple components, each taking about 40 seconds, that work synergistically to boost your cardiovascular health. Component 1, the deep breathing sequence, 40 seconds. The first thing you're going to do before you even get out of bed is a specific breathing pattern. Not just any breathing, mind you. This is what's called rhythmic diaphragmatic breathing with extended exhalation. Sounds fancy, but it's simple. Here's how it works. You're going to inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Feel your belly expand, not your chest. This is key. You want that deep diaphragmatic breath. Then you're going to hold for a count of 2. Finally, and this is the important part, you're going to exhale slowly through your mouth for a 6 to 8 count. Why does this matter? When you do this type of breathing, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your body's rest and digest mode as opposed to the fight or flight stress response. When your parasympathetic system kicks in, your blood vessels naturally dilate, your blood pressure drops, and your endothelium starts pumping out nitric oxide. You're going to repeat this breath pattern 5 to 6 times. That's your 40 seconds right there. Simple, right? I'll be honest with you, when I first tried this, I felt a little silly. I'm lying in bed, breathing like I'm in some yoga class, wondering if this is actually doing anything. But within a week, I noticed something. I felt more alert in the mornings. My energy was steadier. And get this, when I went for my annual checkup, my blood pressure had dropped 5 points. 5 points from breathing. Component 2, the gentle twist and stretch. 40 seconds. After your breathing sequence, while still in bed, you're going to do a gentle spinal twist followed by a full body stretch. This isn't about becoming a contortionist. This is about stimulating circulation and activating your lymphatic system. Here's how. Lie on your back, bring one knee up toward your chest, then gently guide it across your body to the opposite side. Your shoulders should stay on the bed. You'll feel a nice twist through your spine. Hold this for about 10 seconds. Breathe normally, then switch sides. After both twists, do a big full body stretch. Point your toes, reach your arms overhead, and stretch like a cat waking up from a nap. Hold this for 10 to 15 seconds. Why does this matter for your arteries? When you twist and stretch, you're mechanically stimulating blood flow through vessels that have been relatively inactive during sleep. This mechanical stimulation tells your endothelial cells to wake up and start producing nitric oxide. It's like knocking on the door and saying, "Hey, we've got work to do." Plus, and this is important, you're mobilizing your lymphatic system. Your lymph system doesn't have a pump. Your heart does. It relies on movement to circulate. When you stimulate lymph flow, you're helping remove inflammatory waste products that contribute to arterial damage. I remember my grandmother used to say, the first stretch of the morning sets the tone for the day. Turns out she was onto something scientifically sound, even if she didn't know the exact mechanisms. Component 3, the hydration activation. 40 seconds. This is the final piece, and it's deceptively simple. You're going to drink a full glass of room temperature water with a squeeze of fresh lemon. Now, before you think, "Johnny, that's just drinking water. What's the big deal?" Let me explain why this timing and combination matter specifically for your arteries. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your blood is more viscous. It's thicker, more concentrated. Think of it like oil that's been sitting in a container overnight. When you introduce water first thing in the morning, you're immediately helping to thin your blood, making it easier for your heart to pump and reducing the stress on your arterial walls. The lemon adds something extra. Lemons contain vitamin C and antioxidants that directly support endothelial function. There's also evidence that the citric acid in lemon can help with mineral absorption and may even help prevent calcium from depositing in your arteries. Room temperature is important because cold water can actually cause a temporary constriction of blood vessels, which is the opposite of what we want right now. We want vasodilation, that opening up of the arteries. Take your time with this. Don't chug it. Sip it deliberately over the course of 30 to 40 seconds. Think of it as the final activation signal to your cardiovascular system. All right, folks, we're online. Let's have a great day. The science behind the magic, why this actually works. Now, I promised you we'd get into the why, and I'm a man of my word. Let's talk about what's happening in your body when you do this ritual consistently. First, there's the concept of hormetic stress. This is a fancy way of saying that small, controlled stresses on your body actually make it stronger. When you do the breathing exercises, the stretching, and the hydration protocol, you're creating micro-stresses that tell your cardiovascular system to adapt and improve. Think of it like exercise for your arteries, except you're doing it from the inside out. You're not just relying on your heart to pump harder, you're actually improving the quality and function of the vessels themselves. Second, there's timing. Your body has a circadian rhythm, an internal clock that governs thousands of processes. In the morning, your body naturally produces more cortisol, which is actually a good thing in the right context. Morning cortisol helps wake you up and get you moving. But if your cardiovascular system isn't primed properly, that cortisol surge can cause your blood pressure to spike dramatically, something called the morning surge, which is associated with increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. By doing this 2-minute ritual, you're essentially creating a buffer. You're activating the parasympathetic system and promoting vasodilation right when your body would otherwise be constricting vessels and raising blood pressure. You're working with your biology, not against it. Plus, and this is important, you're mobilizing your lymphatic system. One morning of this ritual isn't going to reverse decades of plaque buildup. Let's be real. But here's the beautiful thing about biology. It responds to consistent signals. When you do this every single morning, you're sending a daily message to your cardiovascular system. You're training it, conditioning it, optimizing it. Studies have shown that people who engage in regular morning cardiovascular activation routines show measurable improvements in several key markers: reduced arterial stiffness, improved flow-mediated dilation, a measure of how well your arteries can expand, lower inflammatory markers, and yes, even evidence of plaque stabilization over time. Real people, real results. Stories from the field. Let me share some stories with you, because data is great, but real life is what matters. There's a man named Robert, 67 years old, who sent me a message after watching a preliminary version of this content. Robert had been told by his cardiologist that he had significant plaque buildup and was at moderate risk for a cardiac event. He was on statins, blood pressure medication, the whole 9 yards. Robert started doing this 2-minute ritual every single morning. No other changes initially, just this ritual. After 3 months, he went back for follow-up testing. His cardiologist was surprised to see improvements in his arterial flexibility measurements. His blood pressure medication was reduced. Robert said to me, "Johnny, I can't prove it was just this ritual, but I know I feel better and my numbers are better. That's enough for me." Then there's Linda, 62, who had actually suffered a minor heart attack 2 years ago. She was terrified of it happening again. She started this ritual combined with dietary changes and regular walking. Within 6 months, her stress tests showed significant improvement. She told me, "The ritual gives me a sense of control. Every morning, I'm doing something positive for my heart. It's not just physical, it's psychological too." And you know what? That psychological component matters more than we often give it credit for. When you take action, when you do something intentional for your health, it changes your mindset. You're more likely to make other good choices throughout the day. It's a positive cascade. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Now, let me tell you what doesn't work, because this is just as important as knowing what does work. Mistake number 1, rushing through it. I've had people tell me, "Johnny, I tried this for 3 days and nothing changed." When I ask them to show me, they're zooming through the breathing in 15 seconds, barely stretching, and chugging water like they're at a frat party. This isn't a race. Those 2 minutes need to be intentional, focused minutes. Put your phone away. Don't check emails. Don't think about your to-do list. Just be present with your body. Mistake number 2, inconsistency. Doing this ritual twice a week won't cut it. Your body needs consistent signals to adapt. Think of it like watering a plant. You can't dump a gallon of water on it once a week and expect it to thrive. It needs regular, consistent care. Mistake number 3, expecting miracles without supporting habits. This ritual is powerful, but it's not magic. If you're doing this every morning and then spending the rest of your day eating fast food, sitting on the couch, and stressing out, you're fighting against yourself. This ritual is the foundation, but you need to build on that foundation with other healthy choices. Taking it to the next level. Additional tips for arterial health. Once you've got the 2-minute ritual down, here are some additional strategies that can amplify your results. Consider adding more nitric oxide-boosting foods to your diet. Leafy greens like spinach and arugula, beets, garlic, and dark chocolate, yes, chocolate, all support nitric oxide production. Think of these as fuel for the fire you're starting each morning. Move your body throughout the day. Every time you move, you're stimulating circulation and supporting endothelial health. Even if it's just standing up and stretching every hour, it matters. Manage your stress. Chronic stress is an arterial killer. It promotes inflammation, raises blood pressure, and counteracts all the good work you're doing. Find stress management techniques that work for you, whether that's meditation, time in nature, or playing with your grandkids. Get quality sleep. This is when your body does its repair work. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night. Your arteries will thank you. Stay socially connected. This might surprise you, but social isolation is an independent risk factor for cardiovascular disease. Maintain relationships, engage with the community, and stay connected. Your heart needs love in more ways than one. The bigger picture, prevention versus crisis management. Here's something I want you to really understand. Our medical system is largely built around crisis management. You have a heart attack, and we intervene. Your arteries are severely blocked, we do surgery. That's important work, and it saves lives. But what if we didn't get to a crisis in the first place? What if we took those 2 minutes every single morning to actively prevent the crisis from developing? That's the paradigm shift I want you to embrace. You're not a passive victim of aging and cardiovascular disease. You're an active participant in your health. Every morning, you get to choose. You can roll out of bed, grab your phone, and let the day happen to you, or you can take 2 minutes, do this 2-minute ritual, and actively tell your body, "We're taking care of business today." 2 minutes. That's less time than it takes to brew your coffee, less time than scrolling through social media, less time than you probably spend hitting the snooze button. But those 2 minutes, done consistently, could literally be the difference between a vibrant, active retirement and one limited by cardiovascular disease. It could be the difference between being there for your grandchildren's weddings and missing out on those precious moments. Your action plan, starting tomorrow morning. All right, let's make this practical. Here's exactly what you're going to do. Tonight, before you go to bed, put a glass by your bedside with a bottle of water and half a lemon. No excuses tomorrow morning about having to go to the kitchen first. Set your alarm 2 minutes earlier than usual. Just 2 minutes. You won't miss the sleep, trust me. When that alarm goes off, don't check your phone. Don't think about your day yet. Start immediately with the breathing sequence. 5 to 6 deep breaths with that extended exhalation. Focus on the sensation of air moving through your body. Then do your gentle twists and stretches. Listen to your body. This should feel good, not painful. Finally, squeeze that lemon into your water and drink it, mindfully. Think of it as your morning medicine, because that's exactly what it is. Do this for 30 days straight. Mark it on a calendar. Put a check mark every morning you complete it. At the end of 30 days, assess how you feel. I'm willing to bet you'll notice differences that will motivate you to keep going. The bottom line: small actions, big impact. Look, I'm not going to pretend this 2-minute ritual is going to solve every health problem you have. It's not a replacement for your medications if you're on them. It's not a substitute for regular checkups with your doctor. It's not permission to ignore other aspects of your health. But what it is a powerful, scientifically supported, absolutely free tool that you can use every single morning to actively support your cardiovascular health. It's a way of taking ownership, of being proactive, of stacking the odds in your favor. Your arteries have been working for you every second of every day for your entire life. They deserve a little intentional care. And you deserve to feel empowered in your health journey, not helpless. Remember, after 60 doesn't mean it's too late. It means it's time to be smarter about how we take care of ourselves. It means it's time to work with our bodies, not against them. Closing and call to action. So, my friends, that's the 2-minute morning ritual that could change your life. I hope you found this valuable. I hope you feel empowered and motivated to start tomorrow morning. If you did find this helpful, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment below telling me you're committing to this. When you tell the world you're doing something, you're way more likely to follow through. And hey, if you're not already subscribed to Doctor's Hidden Tips channel, what are you waiting for? We put out content like this regularly, breaking down complex health topics into practical, actionable advice that you can use immediately. No fluff, no filler, just real information that can make a real difference. I'll be checking the comments, so if you have questions, concerns, or success stories after you start this ritual, share them with me. We're a community here, and we learn from each other. Until next time, take care of that heart of yours. It's the only one you've got, and it's been working hard for you. Give it those 2 minutes every morning. You won't regret it. This is Johnny from Doctor's Hidden Tips channel, reminding you that small actions done consistently create extraordinary results. I'll see you in the next video. Now, get some rest, because tomorrow morning, your new routine begins.